Duran Customz interviewing Mike Vasquez on his love and his passion for music, percussion, Conga playing, Grammy Award nominated
Right.
for his part in an album that was nominated for a Grammy in 2011 with Native Vibe.
Native
Right,
Vibe,
Native
yes.
Vibe, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mike, and what was it early on that inspired you? You know, as far as
Well, it I was born here in Los Angeles in '58,
wow,
in Bola Heights, and
you're a local person, huh?
local guy,
Yeah,
local resident. Uh, it's Boyle Heights was a whole lot different than what it is today.
yeah,
But growing up and just I was always tagged around looking at listening to the radio in the kitchen of my parents' apartment.
yeah.
The music just fascinated me very young.
Who was it in your family that kind of was into music and you know what I'm saying? That really caught your attention. Was it your father? Was it your mother? Or
There was nobody.
there was nobody? Or just listening
There
to
was
the radio
nobody.
like
It's
that?
just my ears gravitated to
Sound and
what
everything like
was
that.
back then the early 60s. I'm talking 61, 62, 63. It was pop. It was in 63 is where I really, when I first heard the Beatles, I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And as sure as I'm sitting here telling you, I heard it.
Just something about
It
it.
was something about the sound that they had, and it just really took off from there. I mean, my parents used to tell me, I don't remember it, but I would turn the pots and pans over and there's spoons, and I would just hit the
Wow.
bottom of the pots and pans and just make noise and
Catch a rhythm with it, huh?
try to catch a rhythm until it got too loud and obnoxious, and they would take it away. But yeah,
So as far as playing an instrument, percussion, congas, how did you know that was it, that you wanted to pursue that particular instrument, or you know what I'm saying? That,
well, what it was this again hitting the pots and pans, and it was my dad that kind of
hey, something, this kid's got something there, huh?
he kind of saw. He says, "Well, I think it was like a year and a half later. I was in 64, 65. He bought a
Yes.
snare drum, and he took me to take drum lessons. Then the following year, he bought the whole complete kit, and I
Wow.
had that all the way from 64, 65, and in 66, my parents moved from
Boyle Heights.
Boyle Heights to Pico Rivera, where my dad is living now. Since 1966, he's a resident there in Pico Rivera.
Hey, you mentioned the Pico Rivera kind of like Whittier area, man. That was big in the 70s, right? As far as the
Hey, listen.
music scene and
Yes.
everything. We talk about like Joe Baton, Braden Wood, and
Yes.
even Ralphie Pagan before his passing. R.I.P. to, rest in peace to Mr. Braden Wood also, my friend. We
Yes.
lost a tremendous
Uh,
legend there.
A heavy hitter, and
Heavy hitter.
and these guys were, that Latin funk
So,
sound from,
yeah, Latin.
from back in the late 60s and 70s. That you heard a lot of that during the early 70s in Pico, Montebello, Whittier. It was pretty much all over, but there were a lot of local good bands, a lot of local good musicians,
Yeah.
which those guys from back in the day are today still playing, putting out music, recording.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
guys are still active,
Yeah,
really
man.
monster musicians.
Man, you know that area. When I heard you play Native Vibe, we got the background right here. That sound, man, sounded like if you guys were like in a recording studio, man. You're playing it so like everything's so in sync, man, and it's sounding great.
Yeah, they were great musicians here. Of course, Bill McPherson,
Yeah.
one of the co-founders of Native Vibe, along with the bass player Nee Saki. God rest his soul, he passed away last year. The bass player of the group, Bill and Nee, were the co-founders of the band from back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And they recorded all original music. They've got like about 12 to 15 albums, all original music.
Wow.
They're from Ghana, so they've got that extreme
Worldly feel.
Afro
Centric.
fusion
Yeah.
Latin world music sound, which is incredible music. I was lucky to be part of that.
How did you come across and how did that opportunity come to you that you were able to be a part of that group and being a part of that album later on, getting nominated for a Grammy?
It just hit me without even looking.
Came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. I was at a drum shop out in the valley in Santa Ana. It was the Remo Drum Shop, and one of the workers there, I had been going to the shop and buying equipment from them, drum heads and things of that stuff. And one day I walk in there on a Saturday. He says, "Mike, I'd like for you to cover for me tonight on a gig that I can't make," he says, and I'd like for you to do it.
Wow.
And
Chance
I said,
has
sure.
it.
and lo and behold, I mean, he gave me that. I didn't know what I was walking into.
Yeah.
What was involved. I just knew it was basically in the music thing, the scene. You're covering a guy for a gig.
Wow.
And that's basically how I went into it.
And you just happened to fit perfectly into it, and then provided you with that opportunity to be a part of this. And
when I went to the gig, it was after that show that we did. It was a 4-piece. Yeah, it was right then and there that Bill, the guitar player for Native Vibe, said, "Listen, what are you doing the following week and the week after that? I've got some dates." I said, "Sure, I'll do them." And one thing led to another. One gig led to another, and the results of that was
a career, man.
like about 10 years with the group.
Wow, 10 years with Native Vibe.
I
Wow.
was very, very fortunate to be there. And
how many albums did you guys record during that time? Was it just?
Well, during that period they recorded about 4 or 5 of them.
Wow.
And it was a different spectrum. They had a lot of material.
Yeah.
And it was in 2008 where he told me, he says, one day, he says, "Mike, I'd like you to record a couple of songs on the album that I'm thinking about putting together." And so the process was started. He started working on the album, and the day came when he told me, he says, "Hey, I need you to come in on this particular day at the studio to record this track." And
it happens to land on that album.
And it happens to land on that album.
Wow, man, amazing. How did you feel? Local guy, man, gets his opportunity as a kid, and then now you're getting nominated. I mean, man, I've been part of it. Like, whoa, man.
Not as a kid, as an old guy. But,
but as a kid, you know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is that it's here I was over the years looking at these other guys.
Yeah.
Coming out of the local areas here in the San Gabriel Valley, which is incredibly intense with musicians of all genres.
Talk about the Midnighters, man, right? Like all kinds of underground groups at that time also, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly, and just guys that are trying to find their sound, their way, and their feel.
Yeah.
And I was just very fortunate to be a part of that.
Part of that, man.
Also, off of working with Native Vibe, was also in the salsa Latin jazz scene as well.
Yeah.
So I had been freelancing with other different groups.
So that So that leads you throughout your career. Who else have you worked with? You know, some of the legends that you had looked up to throughout your years, right? You're going into salsa.
Yes, and
Fania record legends and stuff like that, right?
And when I get calls to do those gigs, I have to put my finger on the pulse on this, man, because growing up in the 60s and 70s, listening in the household and with the family gatherings and all, my parents coming from Puerto Rico, listening to the salsa music,
Yeah.
And listening to Fania, which was like the Motown of Latin music back then.
Yes.
And hearing those guys and the singers. And now these singers are solo artists, and I'm backing up a lot of these artists that came from the Fania label. And
Wow,
that
man,
was
that's
like,
amazing. The
it's
Fania All Stars, man.
it's really a wake up. It really is.
Was it
Very
like
fortunate.
that? You ever got to work with Tito Fuentes?
No,
No.
no,
Wow, man.
no, never have. I
Damn.
got to see him play, and to be quite frank, man, to be up there doing what he's doing
Yeah.
at that time, musically, I wasn't ready to.
You wasn't ready for
I was a fan. I was a fan in the audience looking at him.
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, what was some of the first albums that you purchased, man? You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to a record store, man. Name us a few of the first couple of albums you purchased, man.
Well, I have to go back a couple of years
Yeah.
from the '60s drumming. I can't go on without mentioning. I
Yeah.
grew up watching on TV a lot of the Elvis movies.
Wow.
That right there, you know, everybody has an influence.
Elvis is
what
definitely,
influenced-
arguably the greatest of all
well,
time right there,
yeah,
man. Elvis Presley.
Everybody has different influences, and we're pulled and
Different
and
direct-
tugged and
yeah.
into different directions, and what inspires us.
Yes.
But seeing and what he did in the movies, it just did something.
Yeah.
And so but then eventually we just all go into a genre that really
Yeah.
gets us going. But you know, Elvis was the guy.
Elvis was the man.
Now, to answer the question you just gave me about some of the albums,
Some of the first albums you ever picked up, walking into a record store,
yeah, man, I
Sly and the
I remember
Family Stone.
I remember one day there was a store. It was, I'm not sure if it was even a warehouse, but in East Los Angeles, my dad and I, we went to this store that used to play. It had a big record section and stereo hi-fis that they used to call them back then.
Yes.
Stereo equipment for the homes. And my dad and I started hearing this sound. This was in '69, and we heard the Santana album that they were playing.
Damn.
And we walked out of there with that album.
Wow.
So yeah, that was like one of the first ones.
Nice.
The big guy for me was in the soul funk was Sly and the Family Stone.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Then later on, a couple of years after that, in 1971, 72, I caught wind of Tower Power.
Tower of Power.
And Tower Power till today has been my group.
Tower of Power is your all-time favorite group? Wow, nice.
Tower Power is the all-time favorite. And in that album that I did with Native Vibe in 2009, one of the co-founders of Tower Power, rest his soul, God rest his soul, is Mick Gillette, the trumpet player for Tower Power. He was on that album that I
Wow,
had
you got
the
to
good
play
fortune
and
to
record with them? Wow,
with
one
Mick
of your...
Gillette, yes.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That
Very
is
fortunate,
amazing.
Very fortunate.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I want to say thank you, man, because if it wasn't some of the conversations that we have looking deep into funk, Tina Marie, man, Ozone, and Earth, Wind, and Fire wouldn't have got me into doing like my little radio format style show, the Quantum Hour show, man. So I'm like, man, I'm in gratitude to you, man,
And thank you, Richard,
kicking
for-
down all that knowledge, man, and having those conversations with me, man. I appreciate it.
For taking an interest,
Yes, definitely,
because it doesn't come out unless a person's interested.
definitely.
And you had
brother.
that interest, and I
And it just keeps me digging and digging and looking for more. Wait a minute. Oh, man. Brass Construction.
Yeah.
Motherload.
Yeah,
Wow.
all those folks. They're gold. It's gold music.
It's gold
and
music.
the bands are just gold.
Is Tina Marie the queen of funk? All time? I gotta say she is, man, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And if I say no, people are gonna come after you.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on with this guy?
Hey, man.
No,
Bro,
she's as thorough as they come.
she's as thorough as they come,
She got
man.
involved.
Wow.
She got involved in everything that she did, playing 7, 8, 9 different instruments.
Wow.
And one of them
And writing too,
One
right?
of those instruments being the Conga drum, which turns out to be
What?
one of her favorite drums.
Oh, no way.
One of her favorite instruments, yes.
Wow, I see. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know she played.
Oh, yeah.
I knew she played like instruments or the guitar too, and writing and singing, of
It
course.
didn't have to take much for me to love her, but when she said that instrument was her favorite,
Wow, there it is, man.
I was in on. I was all in.
R.I.P. to the legend, man. Tina Marie, the queen of
That's right.
funk,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
Wow, man, amazing, man. So tell us who you're currently performing with right now. You're touring. You still tour, right? You get dates where you travel, man. You travel out of state, right?
Yeah, I did it for a while there. I would go to Arizona. I'd head out to Richmond, Virginia, to Canada.
Wow.
But as
Wow.
of late, I've stayed local within the state.
Yeah.
Northern California, Southern California, of course, in San Diego a lot. I did do a couple of gigs in 2019.
Yeah.
I did one gig in Greece.
Wow, and that's nice,
Yeah,
man. That's major. That's some major stuff right there, man. That
Yeah.
you've accomplished. You know what I'm saying in your
I got
in your
to,
career. You know.
I got to do something over there one night and stayed there for a week. And so, Mexico,
Wow.
I did a boat cruise with some of the Fania people.
Wow, dude.
On a boat cruise in the Mexican Riviera. It was an 8-day
That-
cruise, and we'd work three nights out of those.
That
those 8
label
days.
was so amazing, man.
Oh, it runs deep.
You had Rafi Pagan on there. You had the All Stars, man, and
It covered everybody. It covered anything from, like you said, Ralphie Bagan, which was the Latin soul,
yeah,
to the hardcore. You had ballroom type salsa,
yeah,
and then you had the street hardcore,
yeah.
street corner salsa.
With like Joe Baton and stuff like that.
Well,
huh? Did they have any boogaloo on there
yes,
too, like
oh
that?
yes.
Did they have?
You had
right?
the boogaloos,
Right?
but then you had the hardcore stuff like your Willie Colons, your Larry Harlows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the list goes on and on with all
It-
those
it
greats
does. You
that
got
were
your
there.
Tommy
That
Olivencias.
label there, man, out of New York, and it's like the way you said, that New York sound traveled all the way over here to the Whittier, Pico Rivera area, man, and it made it left an imprint here on the West Coast, man.
it covered a lot of ground.
It covered a lot of ground, man. Exactly, brother.
It did.
Definitely, man. So, if you could make a tape of your life, what would be track number one, man? What would you do? What would be track number one?
A tape of what?
Of your life, of your
my
life, man.
life.
Yeah, your soundtrack of your life. What would be track number one for you, my friend?
Wow. I'm not prepared for that one.
You're a lover of music, man.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be some funk? Is it gonna be some Latin jazz, some Latin soul, or what's it gonna be, my friend? Elvis?
Well, you know what? To go along with that, I sometimes ask the question, if I was left alone on an island and I had to pick one song that I'd had to hear over and over again and not get tired of it,
Yes.
I can't pick one song.
You can't pick one song.
I'd have to go with Sly and the Family Stone, Hot Fun in the Summertime,
Oh, nice.
Everybody is a Star,
Wow. Great music. Great music.
Spinners, It's a Shame.
Wow. Some Marvin Gaye.
Uh,
We had a discussion where you said Motown had a lot of conga in it.
oh yeah.
And I said, did it? I said, I can't really pinpoint it. Then you brought up
Well, it
the
is
Marvin Gaye video of what's going on.
Yeah.
And right there,
Well, it isn't. You know,
you gotta have the ear for it though, right, my friend? Like,
Motown is so involved with They're so
artists.
musical.
Yeah.
The songs are so musical, with so much vocal talent.
Yes.
That we get. It's you can't fault anybody because the music just
So
puts
great.
you on a plane and
There's a lot going on. Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
takes you into a flight.
Yeah.
But as musicians,
Yeah.
like myself, 60, 70 to 80% of the songs that Motown put out had a lot of percussion in it
Wow, man.
that people don't really pay
Yeah.
attention to if they're not looking.
Do we ever stop learning as far as looking into music or even mastering the craft that
No.
we choose to be in? Let's say like you with the congas, or
Yeah.
let's say like a piano player or something like that, or
Yeah.
is there always room for improvement and learning? You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
mastering even more.
I can speak for myself, and I can probably speak for every instrument that is out there that anyone that is playing, from the heavies of heavies to the ones that are starting.
Yeah,
The only time it stops is when you stop,
yeah, yeah.
because
When the passion stops, man.
when the passion stops, or when you just stop, or heaven forbid,
Yeah.
God takes us.
Yes.
But while we're on this earth, and you're still working with that music, there's so much to learn. It never has a closed door. There's a door always open for you to go in and learn if you choose to go through it.
Wow, that's true, man.
Yeah.
That's heavy stuff, brother, right
You
there,
choose to
man.
go through it.
Yeah, man.
Because we're always learning.
We're always learning, man. What do you feel is lacking right now in the music today? You think the live band sound? We gotta bring that live band sound, man.
Yes.
I'm always a sucker, man, for the horns, man. I love you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you don't have to get me on that one. It's
yeah,
live music has. It's out there. It's out there. What's difficult today is record companies.
yeah. Do they
Record-
want to invest in
record
that? Yeah, yeah. Do
companies
they want to
that-
push that?
There's no more.
How do we
There's
say?
no
it?
more production. There's no more distribution of albums and CDs, if you want to say that.
Yeah.
But
I think a
bands
lot of
are-
it nowadays kind of just sounds too similar to, let's say, another artist. Yeah, everybody wants to kind of sound the same way, and they're afraid to be kind of like unique, or what makes them different. So I think it's lacking in that. You know what I'm saying? That live style or something creative, different, man. And I think that's what kind of like sparked like rock and roll. Just something
Right.
different out there.
There is live music out there.
Yeah.
It's just much harder to find.
Yeah, you gotta
Because-
dig for it, huh?
You got a lot of rock soul that is being played. Just about all genres, but you have to really look hard for it. At least
Yeah.
I've tried to, and
Yeah, yeah. I know that
it's
this.
not at every street corner like
No, yeah.
all this other type of music.
I know that this area we're speaking about, Pico Rivera, Whittier area, all this area here now too is like kind of revamped into those bands like that. I know Industry Music Group is doing a lot of those kind of like oldies, soldies type style. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And they're reestablishing and bringing back that old sound with the old music from back in the day.
yeah, yeah,
And give it in a fresh feel.
yeah. A brand new start,
with-
man. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
A new perspective.
and those types of music that you want to put out there, if it would be soul, if it would be pop, if it's funk, from during that period, it was so well done that when it's done today, it just gives it
hard to-
life. It gives it life all over.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to see that, man, revamp, man. Some funk, man. Bring back the funk, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
Like
man.
back in the day, going to see Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh,
going to
Earth,
see
Wind, and
Sly
Fire,
Stone.
dude. Earth, Wind, and Fire is spectacular,
I
dude.
think
Like,
we talked in one of the get-togethers.
yeah.
I had the fortune to see the Isleys with Grand Central Station
Wow.
together on the same bill in '75, and that to me was
Priceless right there, man.
an
The Isleys,
incredible
bro.
show.
Dude, the Isleys. Man, if there's an artist out there that you could work with, living or that has passed away, who would it be? Who would it be? I kind of have an idea. I'm gonna say somebody off of the Fania label,
Ah,
maybe.
no.
No,
This is
I mean
gonna
you got to play with the guy from
This
yeah,
is going to be
Tower.
a little bit abstract. It would have to be Joe Cocker.
Oh man, woman to woman, bro.
It would
Dude, his voice, dude. That dude was, man, that dude was spectacular. If it wasn't for that woman to woman, we wouldn't have had California Love. You know, Dr. Dre producing that Tupac California. Yeah, bro.
Joe
Like
Cocker
man, a lot
was-
of people don't understand that. That's what we had talked about before too, right? Is a lot of the sampling that goes on with the.
It's amazing.
Man, bro,
And
that one threw me for a loop, bro.
I
That
had,
one threw me
I had to
for-
get hip to that because a lot of guys, here I was at work or anywhere I would go and play the music that I grew up with,
Yeah,
and they're telling me, hey, this was used, this was sampled, this was this. So I'm thinking, okay,
yeah,
I was at a good place
yeah.
growing up and being
Yeah,
raised
yeah.
in that period, because all of it's now they're keeping it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're using it.
yeah, man.
It's
A way like the way you said it gets
it's a foundation. Man. They put
gets renewed life into it because then people hear it and say, hey, oh man, that let me look into where was that sample from? Where did that beat come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it gets like me and like, oh shit, dude, what the hell, man? I think it was like a little ghetto boy. The track, oh my
In the Ghetto.
god, in the ghetto, bro, like,
yeah.
damn, man.
They did good work on that.
Yeah. If
Loved
there-
it.
Are you available for if anybody's watching our interview here? Where could they find you at, or where could they hit you up at if they're needing you to fill in or
Well, I'm on Facebook,
yeah,
Miguel Vasquez Conga. Instagram as well. That's basically it.
Basically.
I post a lot of my shows that I do there when
Yeah,
we do
man.
live shows here in LA.
yeah.
And I post them on my Facebook page.
Do you do any of the concerts in the park like that? Because I be going to a lot of the concerts in the park.
In the summertime, I do get calls to do the concert shows.
Yeah.
Like I said, I freelance with 2 or 3 different groups.
Yeah.
So, like, it kind of takes you into different parks in different cities.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do them, and they're everywhere.
They're spectacular, dude. Like a lot of them are, they're actually like real.
7 days a week.
Yeah,
You
they're
can
like,
go to a park and see a band.
dude, I love the summertime, man. I
And that's
love
talking
the
about
summertime.
live music.
Live
We're
music,
talking
people
live music,
dancing,
there
having
it
fun.
is.
There it is, brother. Yeah,
Exactly.
dude, man. Anything else that you want to leave us with, man? I want to say thank you
No, thank you.
for the
Richard.
conversations, man, that
Thanks.
we've had and the music, man. I'm gonna miss you, brother. I hope you reconsider moving, brother. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know you won't after the other conversations that we had in besides music, guys.
I know.
I appreciate you, man, and
appreciate you too.
man. Any last words do you have for us?
No,
Yeah, man.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for-
Thank you, Mike.
Loving the music.
Hey, man.
Thank you for having the interest in it and asking the questions.
Yeah, man.
Because it's always fun.
Thank you for
We
sharing
always,
it with me,
we always
man.
have good conversation when it comes to that. It's
It's never ending, bro.
there's so much to cover into that.
There's so much to go. Hey, I got some, man. I always mention on my little radio show, I ain't Kevin Slow Jamming James, but it's your homie, Duran Customz, brother. But if you know who Kevin Slow Jamming James is, brother, I got some of those Slow Jamming James on CDs
my
there. I
God.
want to show you right now, bro.
Yes, yes.
Hey, man, thank you very much,
you,
man, for
Richard.
being a part of the show and the
appreciate
channel, man.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.
Peace, love, and light, and I'm out of here. Peace.
Peace.